Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. Celtic Warband here, and thanks for tuning in to another battle in Medieval Kingdoms 1212 AD. This is a 2 vs 2 ambush battle, and it showcases some new reskins for the Duchy of Lorraine. Adrian Fox has allowed me to take a look at some of his reskins, and I believe some new units as well. So we'll take a look at them in the army comps in further detail, and then we'll get the battle started. The first attacking army on the battlefield today is the Duchy of Lorraine, commanded by myself, and we're going to take a look at my army in two parts because I have a Tier 1 force right here that's hidden in the trees. They're going to be engaging the defenders in the early parts of the battle, and then I have a Tier 3 force, also Duchy of Lorraine, that will be taking part later in the battle. So as far as the Tier 1 force goes, we're going to be moving slowly through them. One, to take a look at the units of Adrian Fox's Duchy of Lorraine. He's the creator of this faction. But also, for some reason, it seems like this neck of the forest is really chuggy for my PC, so I don't want to make too many sudden movements. But let's go ahead and open up the window here so you can see the different stats of these units. So in the front lines, I have 5 units of dismounted squires of the early period, which are pretty solid. Their missile block is pretty low, but that's to be expected from a Tier 1 unit. And then over on the flanks here, I've got 3 units of these dismounted Lorrainer Knights, and I have 3 on either side, so I've got 6 total. And these guys are really solid. You can see their missile block is 40, but their melee attack and melee damage are pretty standard, but the melee defense and the armor 57 and 64. So definitely early period tanks. These are really solid infantry units. I highly recommend them. I think that they were pretty cheap as well. I think maybe like 400 or 500 gold. Over here for my archers, I've got Levy Bowmen, 4 units of them. Not particularly amazing, but I figured it'd be good to have some missile presence in this ambush battle. And they've got good ammunition and good rate of fire as well. Missile damage 32, which is pretty solid. I've also brought some Schildtron Levies, which are also a Tier 1 unit, and I brought 4 of them. I've got to be careful to keep them away from the defending crossbows and archers because they have 0 missile blocks, so they could easily get shredded. But I want to be able to support my Lorrainer Knights in melee, so pushing them in first and then bringing the Schildtron Levies in afterwards, they should do quite well. And then finally back here, I've got some shock infantry, these Volges Axemen, heavy axe infantry. Although they are Tier 1, take a look at that melee damage, 50 melee damage, which is really solid. But again, 5 missile blocks, so they might as well not even have any. A lot of the Tier 1 units just don't have any missile block at all. And all of this Tier 1 force is being led by the House Guard of Ardin, and he's kind of hidden in the trees over here. It's a little bit hard to see him, but he actually has a Austrian flag, so I'm assuming that this might be an Austrian general or whatnot. But that's it for the Tier 1 force, so let's go ahead and take a look at the Tier 3 force. The second part of my force, the Tier 3 army, is hidden a ways up from the Tier 1 force, so we're kind of going to be hitting the defenders at different points as they try to escape from the forest. And this is the main commander of the entire operation, the House Guard of Anjou, and he's brought some awesome units to the battlefield as well. I've got 2 units of these Pavis Speerkämpfer, I believe. Pretty terrible German, but I do try my best. And yeah, they're kind of hidden in the trees, so it's hard to see their models, but the shields look absolutely amazing. Really nice variety on them, a lot of nice coloring, and you can actually see that some of them have like castles and like paintings on them, which is just incredible detail. This one actually showcases, I believe, the 100 Years' War. And some of them also having the Duchy of Lorraine coat of arms on them as well. So I've only brought 2 of those spears, though, and I brought 4 units of, look at this name, Pavis Ambritsutsa. I hope that that's how you pronounce it. Definitely a mouthful. But again, really, really solid units. Missile damage of 60, ammunition 24, and missile block 75. And these spears over here also 75. So when you put them into a shield screen or a shield wall, I believe it adds plus 50 and plus 55 missile blocks, so they go up well over 130. And I brought a good mix of infantry units just to kind of showcase all the different models here. So we've got some Lorraine Sergeants, medium melee infantry, pretty solid melee damage, and good missile block on these infantry units as well. And then we've got some Musel Merchant Marines. Now, Azrian did point out that, unfortunately, these are still the old models, so they've actually been updated since then, but still a really, really awesome unit. I love these shaped shields, too. Really, really cool. And then behind that, I've got some of my dismounted Lorraine Ritter with 43 melee damage. Also good missile block. The whole Lorraine roster, once you get into Tier 3, seems to have really solid missile block. And a 95 armor. So these guys are like medieval tanks here. And then I brought some Sawel de Men as well. Excellent armor too. They've got 67, so not as much, but also 50 missile block. So I've got 2 of them. And then I brought 2 Hecht de Men as well. And they're all kind of hidden in the forest, so they're really crunched down. So we can't really see them in their full glory. But once they move onto the battlefield, we'll be zoomed in to watch them fighting. So that is it for my force. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. The second attacking army on the battlefield today is also the Duchy of Lorraine, and this one is commanded by the Hunted, and he has the Tier 2 force. So I command the Tier 1 and Tier 3 forces, and the Hunted commands the Tier 2 force. And his general is the Housecarl de Valdena. And yeah, so it's going to get progressively harder the farther the defenders move through the forest, first facing off a Tier 1 force, and then facing the Tier 2, and then finally the Tier 3 at the very end. But let's take a look at the Hunted's forces a little bit closer. He's got 4 units of the Lorrainer crossbowmen, which again have pretty solid stats. Missile block is only 15 though, so a big jump between the late period Ambrosise and the just basic high period Lorrainer crossbowman. And then for his main melee infantry, he's brought dismounted Lorrainer knights. We saw my Tier 1 knights, so he's brought the next level up. And again, pretty solid 85 armor, 57 melee defense, and 50 missile block. But I think it's pretty comparable to the Tier 1 melee infantry. They might just have a little bit more melee damage, I believe, 5 more melee damage. And he's also bringing some Schildtron militia as well. Tier 2 to my Tier 1. And actually much better than mine. Melee attack and melee damage are significantly increased. And they have 50 missile block now instead of 0. And then his best units are at the back here. He's got some dismounted men-at-arms. With 55 melee damage, 85 armor, and 40 missile block. So really, really good units there. And he does have some units on the flanks. Where's that sword unit? Here we go. And these guys are standing up, which is nice, so you can actually see the models more closely. And actually really cool to have that sword on that flag. But he's got 2 of these units, one on either flank of the Lorrainer Sergeants of the high period. Really low missile block, though, so they'll get torn up if they're focused down for too long. And then we have the Pavisier of the high period. He's brought 4, 2 on either side, and 60 missile block, and 63 armor, so pretty solid for high period spears, but comparable to other factions I would imagine in 1212. And that is it for the Hunted's forces. So let's go ahead and take a look at the defending armies, and then we'll get the battle started. The first defending army on the battlefield today is the Kingdom of Sicily, commanded by Azrian Fox, and he is leading this long, glorious column with his general bodyguard, the Anjou bodyguard. And then he's got his swordsmen in a block here, all 7 units, and they are Aragonese swordsmen. And we could take a look at their stats too, although I think we've seen these guys before on my channel. Pretty solid missile block. Melee attack is quite low, but melee damage is comparable to the high period Lorraine swordsman. Less armor though, only 45 armor. And then on the flanks over here, he's got 2 units of dismounted men-at-arms, and I love the full gray on these units here. Absolutely glorious. 60 melee damage, 95 armor, and 60 missile block, so also very tanky. And then over on this side, he's got 4 units of pikemen, Sicilian pikemen. I love how they kind of have Crown of Aragon colors, though. Very, very interesting. And he's got crossbowmen, 4 units of Pavi's crossbowmen. Such a solid choice in 12-12, especially when you're going for high period units. 75 missile block and 60 melee damage. So good luck to my Levy bowmen getting any kills on these guys. And then he is following it up with 2 units of the Sicilian men-at-arms. Just a nice looking cavalry unit. Really heavily armored. You can tell how heavily armored they are just by looking at how much horse armor. Very, very cool. And that is it for the Sicilian forces, so let's take a look at the last defender. The final defending army on the battlefield today is Venice, commanded by Hamdog CDXX, and he's brought a pretty similar army composition to the Sicilians. Good spears, pikemen, cavalry, and crossbows. Right in the front lines, 4 units of lancieri, and I love on the Venetians how they have this classic oval shield. That's just so iconic to me of Medieval 2 with the Venetian heavy infantry, so I'm glad that they kind of kept that touch. So 4 units of the spears. Then right behind that, he's got 4 units of the Piscieri, late period pikemen. Not very good on the missile block, but they've got some solid armor at 55. Melee attack and melee damage is a little lacking, though. But he's got some nice cavalry here. I believe he's brought 2 units of the Signori, late period cavalry, 95 armor and 60 missile block. That's insane for a cavalry unit. Really, really good. And he's brought 2 units of Ansiri, which is late period bows, and then 2 units of Pavesari Ballestari. Again, probably horrible Italian, but he's also got some Foot Signori back here, tier 2. Comparable melee attack and melee damage with the 32 to 37. Melee defense and armor is really solid, missile block pretty good. And then he's brought some Fanti Damar, which are basically, in my mind, the Venetian heavy infantry of 12-12. Really solid heavy melee infantry. And then he's got the Doge's bodyguard right here. And that's the other Signori unit that I told you about before. And then way at the front here, lag as we move back, he's got a unit of scouts that are right at the front of the column. Really nice touch from Hamdog, bringing some scouts to the battlefield. Pretty good idea to have some, especially when you're moving in a column formation like this. This was not an area where you could really deploy your forces quickly to respond to a threat, so having as much notice as possible would definitely give the defenders the upper hand. But that is it for the Army Comes, guys. Thanks for sticking around. I just wanted to spend a little bit more time showing you guys the Lorraine units, and I believe he has uploaded it to the 12-12 mod team, so we should see these new units very, very soon, and you will be able to try them out for yourself. So without further ado, let's get to this battle. Alright guys, welcome to the battlefield, and as you can see, we have the forces of Sicily and Venice moving through the forest unaware at the ambush that has been set for them. And just look at this glorious heavy infantry. I love the Italian factions in 12-12. In fact, I love almost all of the factions in 12-12. It's just such an amazing mod. Modders have done an excellent job in basically bringing us a Medieval 3, something that CA will probably never make, as much as many of you don't even want to hear that. You can see the forest of pikes moving through the forest itself, some heavy Sicilian knights as well. But yeah, so basically this is going to be the overview section of the battle. I'm just going to show you where everything is set up and where, like, as far as the ambushers and the ambushees. And then we're actually going to split this battle into 2 or 3 parts, because it's actually a simultaneous attack from my tier 1 force on the Venetians and the Hunted's tier 2 force on the Sicilians. Let's go ahead and put this on slow motion for just a minute here, because the battle is actually about to begin. And then I have my tier 3 force that is basically set to block any remaining Italians from escaping this battlefield alive. But it's only 21 minutes, and we were talking after the battle that basically with these 2 battles happening at the same time, we don't want to miss anything crucial. And as I said, the battle is just action-packed. So what I'm going to do is focus on the tier 1 fight first. So my tier 1 army going up against the tier 3 Venetians. And then we will cut to the tier 2 force led by the Hunted that will be fighting Asrian Sicilians, and then we will have a final cut, basically the final stand of the Italian factions against my tier 3 Lorraine units. And you can just see on the minimap where everything is set up there. And we could actually go to the tactical map as well, just to give you a good overview. And if you guys would like me to do more overviews of my battles in the future, I'm definitely okay with doing that. The only thing is, this one, it was highly coordinated. The result is completely raw and natural. So whoever won basically. But we set this up so it's not like an actual ambush scenario, so it's good for you guys to get a painted picture in mind before we actually do start the battle. But that is it for that. So my army is going to be moving forwards very soon here to strike at the Venetians, so let's cut to that battle. Guys, so my tier 1 forces have engaged the Venetians in melee, but the Sicilians had sent word back to the Venetians of a possible ambush, and the Venetians were able to get into a pretty good defensive formation here. You can see that they've got double lines, so I think Hamdog CDXX was expecting that I would have men coming from both sides. But as soon as he realizes that that is not the case, he's quickly readjusting his pikemen here, his Peschieri, to block this center. Luckily, he had a unit of Lancieri here, because I was moving my dismounted Lorrainer Knights of the early period to try and flank in the center, and that would have been a disaster for the Venetian forces. I would have just destroyed these late period units with relative ease. But he had good battlefield awareness there, plugging the gap. And he's well defended his archers by pulling them way behind enemy lines. And we've got some huge charges over here by the heavy Sicilian cavalry. I have some of my units of Vulge's Axemen that were trying to do a flank as well, but I've had no choice but to peel them off and try and zone out this cavalry. The only cavalry unit I have in my tier 1 force is my sub-commander, so I don't really want to throw him into melee just yet, but let's watch this disgusting charge here. The heavy Venetian cavalry moving right into the center of these units, and yeah, basically just throwing them to the ground. I did have a second unit of axes that is going to get a good charge bonus off, and here comes the general as well, the House Guard of Ardin. And I've got my pikemen over here, the Schiltron levies. I'm trying to flank them into the center here, because you can see that a lot of it is open on this side. Hamdog does have his Pavesieri Barestarie over here that's focusing down my dismounted Lorrainer Knights, trying to cut off his general, and my Schiltron levies also being focused down as well. But yeah, unfortunately, these dismounted Lorrainer Knights, they are doing wonderfully on the other side of the battlefield. But on this side against the heavy cavalry of Venice, there's just not much chance. And we've also got the general going to get a nice clean charge. Oh no, he changed his mind. So he was going to get a nice charge to the backs of these knights, but he didn't want to be caught with the Vulge's Axemen right behind. So he's smartly pulled away from that engagement. And we've got the House Guard of Ardin chasing the Signori with my depleted unit of Vulge's Axemen over here. Again, just zoning them away from this battlefield. I don't want them to be getting any charges on my lines, because that will surely break them. They're only tier 1, so their morale isn't great. You can see over here as well, Hamdoggy's got his Peschieri fighting my Vulge's Axemen in melee. They're not really doing too well in this engagement, especially with, like, no armor at all. So take a look at that battlefield.
The men have thrown down their weapons and are fleeing!
And they've already started to break. And I think I did want to try and focus my Levy bowmen on them. You can see I'm firing all the way over here into the Peschieri, but they're so heavily armored that it's really difficult for me to get any kind of work done on them. And let's actually get a nice shot down this battle line as well. Fighting their hearts out. I think I definitely outnumbered the Venetians, but I don't outclass them by a long shot. But the Venetians hold for now. Let's go ahead and put this back onto play. Get some good battle music in there. Again, going to be framey, guys. Welcome to Attila. Some of you commenting still don't realize that it's really not the PC itself that causes Attila to lag. It's basically the performance of the game itself. So it doesn't matter how good your PC is. There are some things you can do to make it a little bit more stable, but not much. There we go. It looks like I am making a bit of headway here. And Hamdok CDXX trying to deploy his pikes over to this other flank because I've got more infantry over here that is returned from fighting the cavalry. You can see that his cavalry has kind of been bested. The Signori 29, they are wavering and pulling away. And now the House Guard of Ardennes is trying to catch these units here. Here we go, another nice charge, and then they're just going to charge in from behind as well, which will probably see off that unit. Oh, hold on. Oh, yes. Just in time to see that clash. So he's turned around to face the House Guard of Ardennes. But I'm close behind with my Volge's Axemen, who are winded because they've been chasing around cavalry the entire battle. But let's continue to focus on this fight here. This is a little concerning for Hamdok. You can see he doesn't have any pikemen here, whereas I've got my Schiltron levies, which are really helping my dismounted squires to cut down these foot signori. Look at this unit, 109 kills and counting. Over here, not so good though. This unit of Schiltron levies is being focused down by the crossbowmen. Put this back on play here. Of course, my levy bows are also trying to shower that unit of pikes that's forming up on the hill front there. They've taken about 20 casualties. Very, very nice. So yeah, my levy bowmen are relatively untouched at this point. And this long battle line just continues. And yeah, I've piled quite a few units in here. You can see that this one unit of Lancieri is holding back 3 units. But they were shaken there, but now they've steadied themselves, which is good. And over here as well, check this out. The Fanti Damar actually breaking, and Hamdok CDXX is desperately trying to form a second battle line here. And I've got my House Guard of Ardennes trying to silence all of these archers, but there are spears close by, and he does unfortunately break. But now, since all the cavalry has been relatively dealt with, I'm bringing my Volge's Axemen in to try and stop these Picheri from escaping. All of these units are trying to strategically redeploy, but I'm just chasing them down to the best of my abilities. I believe that was the Hunted's general who has fallen, but don't worry, we'll take a look at that battle next. And there we go. So finally, he does turn some of his units around and decides to face my Tier 1 units head-on. He's using the Foot Signori here and the Picheri, but he's really trying to get his Ansiri and his Paveseri Ballistari out of there, because they can win battles. You need to protect your archers at all costs. And here we've actually got the Doge's bodyguard getting a nice charge into the backs of my dismounted squires and these dismounted Lorrainer knights. And we've got the scouts too, who have actually been wreaking a bit of havoc behind my lines, running down my levy bowmen. Now they're going after these Volge's Axemen, I believe, that have just returned from routing. But yeah, it's pretty 50-50 here, I would say. Like, I did well in the battle line, but over here on the flanks, I've just been throwing units at these pikemen, trying to hold them in place, and just nothing is killing them. You can see this unit of Picheri is up to 283 kills, and I'm just basically mobbing as many units as I can here and stopping them from escaping. This unit of dismounted Lorrainer Knights, I'm charging into the Picheri. Probably not the best thing, but I just wanted to stop these units from getting over to the Sicilian lines and supporting against the Hunted. And you can see these Lancieri here are completely surrounded in the tree line by my Lorrainer units. Got the heavy axes right in behind, and then I've got my Lorrainer swordsmen in the front. Hold, men! But yes, so Azrian Fox was the one who actually came up with this idea for a medieval Teutoburg Forest. So that's why these the two defending ones are Italian, because the Romans were historically the defenders, and then the Duchy of Lorraine, we just wanted to showcase the new units there. So that's not exactly historical. Moving my Schiltron levies over there. I think I'm still trying to focus down this unit of scouts over here. Yeah, down to 37 men, but again, just causing so many problems over here. The Doge's bodyguard is over here as well, but I'm firing at him with my remaining levy bow units. It's down to 37 men though, so he's still a strong contender in this game, but he's not ready to be killed yet. And here we go. You can see that Hamdog has formed a second line here with his 3 units of Picheri. He's got a unit of Lancieri, 2 of his archers, and the bodyguard. And then he's also got his 2 units of crossbows over here. But this unit of Picheri is kind of caught out of formation here. And my dismounted squires are slaughtering them. They're actually wavering. And the crossbows can't get a good position, so they are moving forwards. I'm not sure if that was a misclick or not. But, oh, who broke first? Did mine? Oh, they broke. That's frustrating. I thought for sure that pike unit would be broken. But these poor Lancieri, they're trying to escape and just being constantly chased by my units. And we do have a very depleted unit of Signori over to this side. But that's pretty much it, guys. My Tier 1 force is almost completely destroyed, so there's not much else that I can do, and the remaining units are going to be able to retreat to Azrian Fox's lines. So let's go ahead and cut it here, and we'll take a look at Azrian's battle against the Hunted.
Aye. Enemies tend to do that.
So as the Venetians form up to face my Tier 1 force, you can see that the Hunted has brought his general out into the path of the Sicilian general. Now this is the first warning that the Sicilians may be about to be ambushed, and you can see that it has stopped their entire train, and now we've got the archers unleashing their volleys onto the Sicilian soldiers, and now they quickly need to get into a position or they're going to be kind of caught with their pants around their ankles. The Hunted has deployed quite a far ways back, so it does give the Sicilians quite a bit of time to be able to form a nice battle line, but now we've got the Lorrainer swordsman, and I believe he's bringing forwards his Schiltron militia as well. They're going to be slamming head-on into the Sicilian Aragonese swordsmen. And this is all while my units are, you can see on the minimap, my units are moving to engage the Venetians at exactly the same time. And it looks like they were going to charge in there, but they stopped. Got a couple more volleys off on the Aragonese swordsmen, and then pushed into melee. And we've also got some swordsmen that are moving into the center here, actually flanking around the front line of the Aragonese swords. And we've got the Housecarl of Valdemel just watching and waiting, looking for opportunities to move on in. Azrian Fox, he's got all of his pikemen over on the far side, just in case he does get enveloped. And he's got his Anjou bodyguard here to protect this flank as well. So pretty much the same formation as the Venetians had taken up, but I think both were set to be ambushed on both sides, but then realized that it was only coming from one side. And that way the pikemen will be able to move forwards into melee, but all the while being showered by the enemy crossbows from Lorraine that are still hiding in the trees. And that is an epic shot there. So it's almost like Azrian's keeping his pikemen in reserve. So let's go ahead and focus on exactly what's going on in the front lines here. And the Hunted's Tier 2 swordsmen, they will probably do better in melee than my Tier 1 swordsmen fared. They've got a little bit better stats. They're facing basically the same caliber infantry, because the Venetian infantry were also Tier 2 and Tier 3. So hopefully the Hunted will be able to do a decent amount of damage here.
Refuses to admit defeat. Their unit has rallied.
But I don't want to focus on one area of the battle too much, because we could be missing other parts of the battle. And look at this, we got the Anjou bodyguard moving forwards here. We've actually got some men-at-arms over here fighting against the Pavisiers. And what do we got over here? Oh, these men-at-arms are just getting shredded. So I must have missed this where they tried to bring them up along the flank, but the crossbows just focused them down. Also fighting the Pavisiers is not the best option for these heavily armored knights. Also over here fighting the men-at-arms. These men-at-arms seem to be faring a little better, though, and the general's basically just moving from side to side, seeing where he's going to be needed. And well done to the Hunted here with his Pavisier forming these units up in a nice spear wall, but blocking this area so that Azrian cannot flank around and go after all those crossbows. Well, let's take a look on the other side of the battle at what's going on here. So Azrian has started to bring his line around because there's a lot of pressure from the Duke's Foot Guard over here, which actually I may have missed in the army compositions. So apologies there. Heavy polearm infantry. And yeah, they're doing some work on these Aragonese swordsmen. We've also got some dismounted Lorrainer knights against the swords here. And these swords are in shield wall just in case these sergeants decide to move in. And you can see in the distance there, or not really in the distance, very close to this battle, there's a whole separate battle going on. So that's why I kind of thought that it would be best to look at these separately. And there we go, we've actually got the Anjou bodyguard who has somehow snuck through the spear line here that was supposed to be protecting these crossbows, and he's just running amok in the forest, slaughtering these Lorrainer crossbowmen. And now he's actually going for a nice charge onto the backs of the Lorrainer units. Actually a really effective charge there. You can see the wave of bodies that have just been knocked down onto the pikes. Most of them should be able to get up, which is good, but it's really disrupted their formation and allowed the pikemen to get so many more kills on that unit. Unfortunately, though, for Azrian, I think that his general is quite exposed. Yeah, you can see that he's wavering at this point. And where is the Hunted's general? Yeah, he's got the House Guard of Vedemol. He's holding him back. Oh, but actually, let's put this on slow motion so we don't miss this. It looks like they're going for a charge on this unit that's in shield wall. Yeah, it's like water hitting a rock. They did not even budge. So well done to Azrian Fox there. If you guys remember from my Mongol hill assault battle, where the Crimean slave raiders were able to break a unit in shield wall by charging into them, that was because the unit was only two rows, basically, of soldiers. The width was pulled so thin that even though they were in shield wall, they didn't have enough mass to hold back the cavalry charge. But Azrian here, his was at least 4. So it easily soaked up the charge from the House Guard of Vedemol. And he's also got pikemen very close at hand, which will be dropping their pikes. And this general is in dire straits here. But yeah, it looks like the Anjou bodyguard here just about to be taken out. We've got some of the crossbows that are focusing down the backs of the Aragonese swordsmen. Yeah, you can see that they are starting to waver. However, Azrian's crossbow still very well protected. We've also got the scouts over here from Hamdog CDXX, although I'm not sure if he notices that the dismounted men-at-arms are fighting here. However, the dismounted men-at-arms from Sicily seem to be just doing a good enough job against the Lorrainer men-at-arms.
Enemy units have rallied and returned to the battle.
Let's actually see some fighting here. Oh, never mind, they actually broke. Oh, and that guy was cut down. Saw a little head rolling past as well. So yeah, action-packed from start to finish. These pikemen here are doing really well holding back these spears. Looks like the Pavisier is actually broken on that middle flank there. We've got some more Pavisier fighting the Aragonese swordsmen who have stepped a little far. They're wavering now. They should have pulled back and held in the pike line. But in this chaotic battle, all this happening in the span of 10 minutes, it's hard to micro everything. And over here, Azrian, these Arcanese swordsmen of the High Period are starting to waver as well. We've got the Bavizier mixed in with the Lorrainer Knights, and they have broken. And that's going to be detrimental for these pikemen, because now they're going to be hit from the side and also the back as well. And this unit has pulled quite... Yeah, good job, Adrian. Pulling that unit of pikemen back and out of harm's way. Unfortunately, though, that does leave his crossbows quite exposed. So it looks like Adrian's going to send one of them into melee so that the other three can continue firing. But yeah, so that is the general dead there. The House Guard of Valdemont has been defeated. But on this flank, he's just doing excellent. He has to be careful not to push into those pikemen, though. I would allow the crossbowmen to do their work, and yeah, you could see the numbers dropping there. That was almost a full unit, and with that volley, they're just being picked apart. Let's go ahead and get some slow motion as well. I don't want this battle to be over too quick. Really, really awesome scenario, and if you guys have any kind of custom scenarios you would like me to try, be sure to leave it down in the comments below. I can definitely try that out. And if you're interested in getting involved in any of these custom scenarios, I'm not really active on Steam very much anymore. I basically look for players on my Discord exclusively. And if you want to be in any of these custom scenarios, or you'd be interested in playing with me in any Total War battle, I suggest you do join my Discord, because I'm quite active in there. And I've got it on my phone as well, so I'm pretty quick answering messages as well. Oh man, this guy just getting absolutely slaughtered. But yes, the link to the Discord is always in the description of my videos, as well as all of my other social media as well. But I'm most active on Discord, I would say. And here we go. Looks like the dismounted men of arms trying to regain this flank, but again, the hunted with his crossbows. Just really good battlefield awareness, focusing down these high priority units. Let's go ahead and put this back onto play. And we'll just peek over at my side so you guys kind of have a reference. So I've broken this flank, that long battle line that I was fighting against Hamdog with. I've broken it, and you can see he's already starting his retreat. But Azrian, he doesn't have too much in the way of a line for Hamdog to retreat to, is the only problem. So I think that's why Hamdog has stopped, and he's got his line of pikemen holding here. He's also got this unit on the wing. But yeah, this is mostly Venice's battle going on. We've got... Is this... Oh yeah, it's not Azrian's general. Azrian's general was defeated as well. So basically, both of these players don't have a general at this point. Let's actually zoom into this battle here. Dismounted men-at-arms easily outclassing the Lorrainer sergeants. Oh yes, well done.
Enemy units have been rallied.
Oh, yep, he was cut down. Not escaping that battle. And just like that, I think the Hunted has completely broken. His forces have routed off the battlefield, leaving Azrian with battered but still formidable force. And he's going to form up here, and as soon as Hamdog realizes that the battle is won over here, they are going to make their final stand. So let's go ahead and cut it here, and we'll start the battle once again when the Tier 3 Lorraine units move into position. Reinforcements have arrived. The House Guard of Anjou and his glorious Tier 3 forces have moved onto the battlefield, cutting off any hope of escape from Sicily and Venice. So they have to make a last stand now. And I believe one unit from the Hunted has returned. He has a unit of Lorrainer crossbowmen here. But yeah, glorious, glorious Tier 3 army moving in to engage the final stand of the Sicilians and the Venetians. And yeah, you can see that Hamdog CDXX is moving what's left of his forces close by to the Sicilians. But the balance of power is not totally in my favor. We do have the man advantage, but a lot of that is from my tier 1 forces that I'm holding back in the trees. A lot of them are wavering, so I want to keep them away from the enemy archers and crossbows, and I'll see if I can get some good sneak attacks while they're focusing on this tier 3 force. But just look at these units, especially in this lighting too, just looks absolutely amazing. And with the Medieval 2 soundtrack going in the background as well, just awesome. Yeah, so the general of the House Guard of Anjou, he's pretty confident here. His Pavis Ambracisse, or Ambracuzza, are a force to be reckoned with as well. Full ammo, and Asrian's Pavis crossbowmen, they still do have more than half ammo, but they're pretty battered. Well, actually, no, I lied. They're actually ready for battle. Only this one has really lost any men. Most of them are actually full health. So he's got his line of crossbows here. We've got a unit of dismounted men-at-arms, and he's also got his 3 units of pikemen. And we've also got a unit of men-at-arms that was trying to sneak up to go after those crossbows, but the hunted is just firing at them relentlessly with this last unit here. Yeah, oh my goodness, you can see they were just absolutely slaughtered. I tried to zoom into them to show you guys the slaughter, but as soon as the unit breaks, they bring you out of that camera angle. But yeah, so that unit is not going to be a worry. Over here you can see that we've got the Doge's bodyguard fighting some of my Volge's axemen and dismounted Lorrainer knights in melee. He's going to be able to break them no problem. My tier 1 units are pretty shaken, most of them. And look at this Hamdog, just no mercy, sending up his crossbows to fire at my poor units in that are just waiting in the tree line. And I just don't have anything to face this, unfortunately, so I'm going to have to move my units into melee. I've got my Levy archers, but as I said before, they are not going to get any kills. There we go, firing flaming shot as well. He knows my morale is low.
Our men are breaking up.
Yeah, they're going to shatter before they even get into melee. Oh my goodness. Disgusting volleys there. Yeah, they're out of there. So yeah, Hamdog's going to finish off my forces there. That's not a problem for him. And Asrian, he's got all of his crossbows into loose formation. But I'm just going to go ahead and keep mine in the standard formation because I think it looks cooler. He's definitely got the right idea, though, minimizing losses.
The men are running. Stand and fight, damn you!
Fire! Yeah, I think one or two of you guys commented that you would like me to get rid of the arrow trails as well. I usually keep the arrow trails on because it's really good for people, especially who are new to Total War, to actually see what units people are firing on. But if you'd like it to be more cinematic, I can definitely look at disabling those unit trails for you guys in the future. And here we go, I'm kind of just going for it at this point. I'm moving forwards my Heck the Men, my elite heavy pikemen. They are going to be focused by these crossbows, I'm aware of that, but I just need to get my units into melee as quickly as possible. Also over here you can see I've got my 2 units of Sawel de Men who are flanking around, and this is forcing Venice to kind of quickly redeploy, because I think he expected me to move in from behind, but nope, I'm just going to rush in right from the side and catch this unit of Javi's crossbows. So they are not firing anymore, and I'm pushing in right in the center with my pikemen too, so this unit is pretty much trapped, and this unit is still flanking around. Actually, let's zoom into their perspective.
Men have given up and are running for their lives.
There we go, so basically getting right in behind the enemy pikemen. Turn on the HUD here, and yes, just look at this, just shattering as soon as they reach the tier 3 lines. I think it's mostly because of the enemy general who's already been killed, and them facing these new fresh units. There's just no will to fight. My merchant marines moving into melee as well against the pikemen, but there's just no need. They've turned around. They've turned tail and run. And it looks like there will be victory for Lorraine. And poor Hamdog, he had just seen off my Tier 1 forces, and now he's quickly having to reform a battle line. Unfortunately, Azrian's Pavi's crossbowmen got very little kills against the elite Lorraine units. The pikemen over here, though, are holding in melee, the foot seniority as well, fighting strong against the Lorraine sergeants. Got some more pikemen, though, the heck men moving in. Yeah, I think it's just overwhelming numbers at this point. The Sicilians and the Venetians have been fighting for hours. They're exhausted, they're battered, they're bruised. Their morale is probably very low, considering the fact they may not even think that they could get out of this forest alive. So many men are probably just breaking off the battlefield and trying to escape the slaughter. But I've sent my House Guard of the Vanjou over here to catch the Pavi's crossbowmen in melee. And it looks like we've got some of the Paviseri Ballistari and the Ansiri moving into melee as well. And actually well done from Hamdog here. He's actually got his Bisheri, his late pikeman, in striking distance to just clamp down on my general. But he didn't really move them quickly enough, and now I'm hitting them with my dismounted Lorraine Ritter. And they're just going to get absolutely slaughtered. Yep. And there we go. They actually did break my general. I think I remember Hamdog saying he just wanted to kill my general so bad. He's like, he's not going to leave the battlefield alive. I'll catch him. But I think this general does return from routing. But what do we got over here? We've actually got some Picheri that are holding strong. Holding the rest of my forces at bay, basically, so that the crossbows can continue to get more kills. Oh, there we go. He did get my general. Well done to you, sir. I kind of threw him in haphazardly there. There was really no need to go after those crossbowmen, but there wasn't any enemy cavalry that I had to worry about too, but Hamdog, he did support the Sicilian crossbowmen quite well. And now he's quickly trying to move to reform his crossbows to get some shots off on my men as they advance. But this is pretty much over. You can see it was an utter slaughter. We had way more men than they did, 9,000 men to 5,780. But thus is ambush battles. They rarely see a result that's favorable for the defender. And if the defenders do manage to win, their army is still so bloodied up that it's almost like it's a draw, really. There we go, getting some more fire arrows in, which is actually a really good tactic considering my general is dead. And then trying to pull back again as this other unit fires, but my Lorraine units are hot on their tail. And there we go, I think I do catch some of them in melee as they retreat. Stand and fight! Oh my goodness, I just saw someone get wrecked back here.
The enemy are losing their advantage.
So as I said, Azrian Fox, I believe he has uploaded the new unit models for Lorraine to the 1212 team, so I'm not sure if they're going to be out yet, or if they're planning to be released in the next update. But you should really check them out. The Duchy of Lorraine is really nice. Really crisp models and really flashy as well. Oh my goodness, I'm just watching the crossbows in the back getting absolutely cut down. I believe that's by my crossbows. And I think that's just about the battle there. Yeah, 13 seconds left. So a brilliant display, but they just didn't pull away enough numbers to defeat my forces. As I said, I still have 1,800 men left. Pyrrhic victory, though, so they definitely did make us pay for that victory. Let's take a look at the end results here. So me deploying 6,080 men, well, 6,180. That's because I brought both the Tier 1 and Tier 3 forces, and the Hunted bringing 3,090. So his spear's doing pretty good. Also, this unit of dismounted men-at-arms did really well. Crossbows doing pretty solid, 160 there. My forces, I mean, the Tier 1 forces, this one did excellent, 197 kills by them. And then the early period units, 142 and 123. And these are my Tier 3 forces, I believe. But those axes, I mean, they got charged by cavalry and still managed to get a few kills. But this one, 150. These were garbage. Levy bowmen, not so good. But the Tier 3 forces, I mean, I didn't get too many high numbers of kills just because the Sicilians were pretty battered at the end anyways. But 111 there, and then the Lorraine Ritter did really solid. And so did the Saladin Men. These are two very solid unit choices. And my crossbow's doing pretty good. Looking at the Venetian forces, Hamdog going against my massive Tier 1 army. 436 kills with the Doge's bodyguard. That's absolutely crazy. And 138 with the spears. He just mopped up my units with his Picheri. 490, 559, 257, and 212. His Foot Signori doing okay. His Fanti de Mark getting wrecked, though. And Siri 180, which is really good. And then he got awesome kills on his crossbows and all of his cavalry units as well. Azrian getting 212 with his general. His pikemen, a mixed bag. But his dismounted men-at-arms doing really good. Aragonese swordsmen, not so much, which is surprising because I think they were fighting mostly the Lorrainer Knights. But I don't know. They didn't really seem to perform as well as I thought they would have. Late periods did a bit better, but the crossbows did solid, and his cavalry, he did well over 100 kills with both of them. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this tiered battle. I just didn't want you to miss too much of what was going on. I find that, when you have a good replay, there's no sense in just rushing through it. I really want to give you guys the full effect of these scenarios. So again, thanks so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this in the future. And as always, I will see you in the next one.